Hey guys, Darkovika here, and I'm here with another vlog, which will probably have gameplay going underneath it, because I like that. I don't know, I feel like it's more interesting to look at than just me waving my hands at the camera, although I imagine that can also be quite entertaining to look at. I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering where I went. I just suddenly vanished, except for a couple of updates that I put onto my YouTube channel. I made the discovery that because of my new work hours, if I just don't record on the weekend, recording during the week is exceptionally difficult because work now takes quite a bit out of me in the day. And unless I consume large amounts of caffeine late in the evening, which is not a good idea for my health or for going to sleep, I'm going to be pretty boring in the videos. I know, shocker. I did try to record a couple of videos and I just overall was not happy with how those videos turned out. I was very quiet. I didn't react nearly as much as I thought I was, or as much as I thought I had, or as much as I thought I was going to, which was kind of, I wasn't really happy with how they turned out. So originally I was planning to do a 3 scary games video and I had the footage for that, but as I was going through it, I don't know. They weren't as, maybe it was the 3 games that I picked, but they didn't actually deliver all that much in terms of scares. And so what I wound up with was something that was overall just very mediocre, at least for me. And I was like, well, this kind of sucks. I don't really want to upload this and I'm bummed about it now. So I am going to keep trying. I don't know if I can do 3 scary games because as much as I love that concept and that idea, it takes a long time to edit those videos. So I was thinking at most maybe I could do 2 scary videos or one scary game, which is just basically a scary game in a video. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. And I was really inspired by it because I saw Jacksepticeye upload something and I was like, oh, I really, I want to try and do that. And I've wanted to do a funny video, like try not to laugh thing, because I thought that would be really fun. It is very hard for me not to laugh. A try not to laugh video would literally just be me laughing the whole video. There is no try. I can't help but laugh. So if you were to I even asked on Twitter, I was like, send me funny videos, and I didn't have the time to put it together. But I still really want to make one of those because, again, there is nothing I do better than just laugh hysterically at things. I'm a comedian's dream come true because it does not take much for me to start laughing, as many of you have seen across my streams, especially in that Lucius 3 stream selection. Oh my god, those were amazing. I really do want to get back into live streaming, but the other problem with that is that my hours are, now it just depends on the week. My hours are, I don't like talking about work so much, so I'm not really going to share too much. Everything is fine. It's just that my hours are now kind of weird and I don't have set hours really right now. Which means there would be a whole lot of cancellations, or just I would be very late to certain streams, so I would not be comfortable setting a time period on a stream. It would just be very hit or miss on that front, and I hate to do that to everybody, to tell y'all, because a lot of you are overseas, which is very surprising always. So y'all have to stay up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to see my streams, and for me to just like last minute be like, yo, sorry, no stream, it feels very scummy. Which, I mean, obviously I can't help stuff that happens in my life, but again, kind of scummy. So, I mean, other than that, though, everything's been going great. I picked up a new hobby, which was, I guess, partly I mean, if you've been following me on Twitter or Instagram, then you know all about what I'm talking about. But it's partly a self-care thing. I picked up something that doesn't require a whole lot of energy. It's just, I mean, I've talked about it on the channel. I've uploaded a couple videos about it. It's the resin stuff. And I've been working with UV resin. Epoxy resin has turned out really well in certain situations. UV resin is hard. It's very difficult. It's not the same, obviously. The difference being the epoxy resin is usually made of 2 parts and then it cures over 24 hours. UV resin is significantly faster, but it's very temperamental and you can't do it during the day outside, which is a problem for me because over the weekend is the best time for me to do a hobby like this, except that over the weekends, the best time to do that during the day, there's tons of this thing called UV rays, and UV resin hardens within seconds, or it starts hardening because I'm surrounded by UV rays. So obviously that's a problem. And the best time for me to do it is at night, which is actually kind of, it works out. And I mean, I can't, normally people would have like some kind of room, right, where they would do this, and you'd have like your windows open so that you have ventilation. But our apartment does not have good ventilation, and I'm not bringing resin into this apartment. We will die. I mean, we won't die, but it would be very bad for our health. So I do it on the balcony. So during the day, obviously, I'm surrounded by sunlight, and my resin hardens literally within seconds. So I have learned quite a lot about resin, which after I've learned it makes me feel kind of dumb, because a lot of it seems like it should be rather self-explanatory. You know, like the whole don't do it during the day if you're doing it outside thing. Once I realized that, I was like, wow, yeah, sure. I mean, you know, UV rays coming out of the biggest UV lamp that we have, you know, aka the sun. Sure, that makes sense. I'm a little salty at myself for that one. But I digress. That's been a huge amount of kind of like self-care for me, is just picking up something that I can do with my hands. I am a very crafty person, a very creative person. I don't know if you've noticed, but doing YouTube for a very long time, you'd think I'd have some kind of creativity in me. But, I mean, a part of it also has been that I have been writing a lot, which is very new for me, because over the past year, writing has been very difficult. I've been struggling a lot, even though I wanted to focus on it last year, which was a decision since I was getting married. So I don't know when I thought I was going to be able to focus on that. But I have just been very, very inspired by one of several story ideas that I've been playing with. The hardest part, I guess this is just let's sit down and have a chat, I suppose, and I'll tell y'all why I suck. But one of the things that's been very nice, one of the difficult things, I should say, that's what I was going to talk about writing, at least for me. I don't know if y'all have this, if you're writers, but the difficult thing for me as a writer is that I have a lot of great ideas. And well, that wasn't that quite stuck up to say. I have a lot of ideas that I think are great, is what I meant to say. But as I start to explore them as a story idea, they fall flat. And I realize that they by themselves are not good stories. And as I start to expand these stories, they usually tend to leave what I originally thought they were. And sometimes it means that I'm no longer interested in them and they get shelved. And that's happened a lot with a lot of my ideas that I've had for a story, which I'm sure those of you who have followed me on Twitter, I have a writer Twitter account, as well as my regular gaming account, Twitter gaming, whatever. You'll have noticed that I have flip-flopped between story ideas quite a bit. And at first I felt really guilty about that. And I felt like I was being, like I was just doing things and that it was a waste of time. But part of me also realized that, I mean, a lot of these ideas, again, I start off thinking that they're really great. And I start off thinking, yes, this is something that people are going to want to read. But again, as I expand them, as I explore them, they start to evolve sometimes into something that I didn't want. And then I lose interest because that's not the story that I wanted to write. But in its original format, it wasn't a story. It was just a concept. And so I've evolved it in a way that I didn't like. So I have to shelve it until I can come back and try to evolve it again into a better way. Or I just have to understand that it's not a story idea that I can write or that I feel comfortable writing. It's just part of the process. But over the past couple of weeks, I returned to a shelved story idea and started trying to re-expand it, as I have done. And this was based off of something that I wrote back when I first started college, which is about 10 years ago. Oh my. But I went back to an original idea of mine, which I don't think I will write it the way that I wrote it back then. And it was actually in a physical notebook. Like I wrote the entire story, finished it and everything. Like it was a completed story, not a good one. It was a rough draft. So there was a lot of things, like I went back later and read through some of it and I was very annoyed because I had a lot of plot points that I never addressed ever again. I mean, it made sense. It was a rough draft. That's what happens in rough drafts. Also a Sammy. But I was looking at that and I realized that I really liked a core concept of that story. And then I started considering like a prologue or a secondary story to it. And that prologue or secondary story really sort of started to take off. And now I've been just exceptionally inspired by it and the characters, and I've stuck with it for quite a bit, and it's very hard to focus on other things when you're that inspired to do something, because it's all you can think about and everything else is just sort of like really irritating. Even the resin stuff that I picked it up so that I could create things based off of this story concept. Like, that's how inspired I am by it. I picked up the resin stuff so that I could make themed things. Like, you'll notice if you look at my images on like Instagram and stuff, a lot of that resin is ocean themed, and that's because my current work in progress, such as it is, it has a mermaid theme, I suppose, and it is young adult, and it is currently. I don't want to give too much information because, again, these things evolve so much, and I can't even really make videos about it because the plot has changed drastically so many times, just because I realize, some point in that, like, a plot point that I thought was a good idea actually detracts entirely from the story. So I go back and I nix it. And that's just part of the creative process. Like, that's not a problem. It's what it is. Just keep writing. That's all you have to do. It doesn't matter how many things you take out. As long as you keep writing and you eventually finish the darn thing, then who cares? But I can't record anything about it. So it's just sort of this thing that's happening that I'm very inspired by, I'm very excited about, and I feel very good about. Sir, could you not? He's trying to get me to pay attention to him, so he's putting his butt in my face. I'm obviously very inspired about it, but I can't really talk about it, if that makes sense. And I've had quite some difficulty with recording lately. Like, I don't know if it's just because I'm not all there, because my brain is like somewhere else. I keep forgetting to hit record. My microphone isn't even on. And I'm like, I'm having a time with recording. But I want to keep going on YouTube, obviously, because YouTube has been something that I've been doing for so long. So I just want to ask you guys to bear with me on this, because I'm very excited about this thing that I'm working on. I love it very much. A while ago, I was recording some videos for Planet Zoo, and which is a game that I got, and I did a live stream for it, and I don't know, my interaction with that game is just not what I want it to be for a video. I don't know. I think I've also been doubting a lot of my contribution to YouTube gaming. Like, sometimes I get very into a game. See, there's like a sweet spot for gaming when you're recording yourself. You don't want to be so into the game and enjoying it so much that you're not actually contributing anything to the video, where you're just kind of like secondary commenting on the game. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. That's what I get with certain games. Planet Zoo is one of those games. I enjoy it so much that I just totally I zone out, and then, there's no content, because I'm just like, all right, now we're going to go ahead and work on this. And then I go quiet for like 5 minutes. That's basically it. So, I mean, it's great. I enjoy the game a lot. Like, I love Planet Zoo. But boy, am I not fun. So it's a lot of that. And I've been wanting to get back into horror games for the channel. But the main problem with horror games, I love horror. It is my favorite genre. I can't handle horror. So if I record horror, I actually cannot record too much horror in one sitting, because it is just, I freak out too much. So I have to like put breaks in between it. And I feel very guilty not hitting these points that I wanted to hit, these schedules, these dates, these upload times. But I don't want to not upload anything. I don't know. I'm in a weird spot right now mentally, where things are just frustrated with my content, and I'm frustrated because it just feels like the same old thing. And I'm frustrated because I don't have the time to edit, and I'm frustrated because I want to edit and have better content. It's a lot of frustration. It's a lot of like, well, I want to do this, but I don't have time because I'm also doing this, but I don't want to give that up because it's making me feel good. Do y'all get what I mean? I just, let's take this in for a moment and relax. Anyways, that's where I'm at. I'm struggling a little bit with my goals right now and what it is that I want to do, and I want to keep open. I was going to show you guys my resin pieces, but I don't, I think I'll just save that for a different video, because this is a very all-encompassing video. But one thing that I do want to do in horror and recording stuff, one of my favorite types of games is found footage games. I know a lot of people complain about those. I'm sorry, I like things that people think are dumb, okay? But I really like found footage style games. Unfortunately, I don't know of many, and I would love to start doing some stuff on itch.io, especially like the free stuff, just because that's stuff that everybody can go ahead and reach out to, and it's part of like the allure of the 3 scary games, which is like you just download 3 scary games off of itch. Usually they're free, and you can shoot a donation over to the indie creators and support them, and I like that. I would love to support some indie creators, and and I've got a lot of stuff in my library, but at the same time, like committing to stuff right now is just bizarre and weird, and I want to do more than what I'm doing, but I can't. It's the hardest part because the best time for me to be able to do any of this would be on the weekend. But the weekend is also the only time that I get to spend with my husband. So part of me is very loath to spend too much time at my computer recording and editing. And I know that that's just a sacrifice that a lot of YouTube creators make to get where they are. I guess this is just an info dump on my feelings, which are all over the place. They're like little bubbles bouncing all over, and it's just, I'm dealing with trying to figure out where I stand and what it is I want. What do I want? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I want to do for my book, which I want to publish a book. That is literally the number one thing that I desperately want right now, is to publish a stupid freaking book. And part of that, I want to make a whole bunch of stuff for it, whether I self-publish or whether I traditionally publish. I want to create things that go alongside it. Maybe I create themed things for like bookmarks for resin and notebooks and super cool charms and jewelry that are all themed for my book. Like, that's really enticing to me and really exciting. And I want to sell a lot of stuff that I make, although I'm not there yet, so don't ask me. But I mean, and I want to create music that's themed for my book, but I'm obviously not even remotely close to that yet. I have to actually write the stupid thing. I have my Surface on my desk, which is why I don't even know if you can see my face. It depends on how I've edited this. But, it's just a very strange place to be. And I would love to talk about said book. But again, so much of it changes so constantly that to talk about it and then have people be excited about something, and then I decide to nix that thing because it doesn't work in the overall story, then I publish it and people are like, well, where was this part that you talked about? I think you could see what I'm talking about. So it's just very weird. It's very frustrating because I'm frustrated. I have too much that I'm doing, which is very, very typical of me. And I keep wanting to do more and I can't, and I need to stop that. It's a year of me trying not to take on more than I can handle, which has always been a problem for me. It's always been an issue, but also trying to do self-care and feel good about myself, which is, I didn't have that last year. And right now, like for the first time in months, my anxiety is starting to chill out and go away. And I think it is because I'm actually enjoying myself, enjoying what I'm creating and what I'm writing and the resin stuff, even though I'm kind of sucky at it. I'm learning. It's interesting, and I want to keep exploring this because it's keeping the anxiety at bay, and the anxiety is a problem because I found out that might be genetic, and you know what? Hey, that sucks. But there's been a lot going on. How you guys doing? How are you all doing? It's been a while since I talked to you. Tell me, how are you? In the comments below. I wish I did this full time. I wish I did YouTube full time, even as like a bare minimum living that was like giving me just enough to scrape by. Okay, maybe not. That's a very stressful way to live. But I mean, at least then I would feel more comfortable sitting down to edit and record for long periods of time. This is a video of me complaining. I'm going to call this video Darkovika Complains for like 20 minutes. Literally. Just looked at the timer. All right. I've complained at y'all enough. I use these vlogs to sort of vent and let you guys know that I haven't forgotten about YouTube and I haven't forgot about y'all because, obviously you guys have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what I'm thinking about, what I'm working on, and what I'm doing. You have no idea. That makes sense. It's not, hey, that makes sense. Sorry. Just made a reference to John Brent and I do this thing because we watch JonTron all the time. We rewatch JonTron. It's like our favorite type of video to watch is JonTron, and we make constant references to his videos. I mean, it is constant. It is our inside running joke is me and him making JonTron references. If we ever met him, we would probably freak him out because everything would have some kind of JonTron reference attached to it. Anyways, yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do you like weird random vlogs? Do you like these things where I just talk for 20, 15 minutes? I don't know. Answer questions. I used to do that. We used to do the question videos where you guys would post questions in the comments below, and or I would do, you know, like those 20 questions quizzes where I just answer a bunch of questions. I used to do those, I think. I think I did like 3. Who knows? I used to do a lot of vlogs. That was what I originally did when I first started YouTube, was vlogging, where I just sat with a Nikon camera, a very old Nikon camera, and like held it in my hand. Oh, don't autofocus at me. I always turn that off and then it turns it back on because it's not good autofocus. But I used to hold the camera and use like a mirror to check the back because it was one of those that didn't have like a folding out viewport or whatever. So I'd point the camera at me. Didn't have a stand. I'd hold it in my hand, use the mirror to make sure that I was actually pointing it at myself, and then just talk at an Nikon camera. You can actually find those. One of those videos has like 8,000 views because it was about Herobrine. And yeah, I used to just vlog all the time. So I don't know. Maybe I should do more of that. Just get my feelings out, talk to you guys, and just be chill. Just vlog, you know? Talk about things that I'm enjoying. Maybe I'll just talk about games that I'm playing for fun. Talk about experiences like I used to. So that's literally what I originally did on this channel, was just like I was playing games and then I'd come and make a vlog and be like, yeah, I played a game and this happened to me. It was kind of funny. I don't know. People liked that like 11 years ago. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to stop this vlog or I'll go forever. Anyways, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys sticking around. I know the channel's in a weird place. I'm in a weird place. Channel's frustrating. I'm frustrating. C'est la vie. Such is life for someone who just is not capable of taking the risks and making the moves that those big YouTubers make and do. But, I mean, all the respect to them for doing so, because, my God, it takes a lot of time and effort. As well, many of you probably know. I will see you guys next time. Bye.